What have you actually done in your last 6 months? Have you took the time to sit down and write it down? In my last 6 months, I've already purchased a new home. We've moved to a brand new property. As well as that, we've continued to build the buy-to-let portfolio, and we have took on and are in the middle of refurbishing 2 buy, refurbish, rent, refinance projects with another 2 currently in legals. As well as that, I managed to write a book. In and out between all of that, we've also launched the Progressive Property Club Gold membership, where people can get access to deep dive content every single week. And over the last 12 weeks, we've been teaching people how to raise money to build their property portfolios or businesses or whatever it is they wish to have that money for. And that Progressive Property Club is a complete game changer in the industry. In fact, it's going to probably put many of our competition out of business, because you're getting tens of thousands of pounds of value for just 28 quid a month. This is going to help you put a plan together to get going and make the next 6 months the best 6 of your life. Number 1 is you gotta change your mindset. Your mindset, right, can put up barriers. They said, surely it's not that simple. If it was that easy, everyone would do it. The story you tell yourself will lead you to the result that you give yourself. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, unfortunately, you are right. Or fortunately, you are right. For 35 years of my life, I didn't believe it was possible. I was told money doesn't grow on trees. The love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, do not think above your station. Things like that are not for people like us, etc., etc., etc. Because my first mentors were my mum and dad and my elder brothers and sisters who had also not grown businesses. They're very smart. They went to university, some of them. Those that didn't go to uni are very street smart and also book smart from school, but they were not people who had built businesses. So if you want to build a business, but you take your advice of somebody who has not built a business, you will not build a business. If you want to do something, you have to take the advice of people who've walked that road before you. No matter what it is in life, whether you want to be a doctor, a dentist, a property investor, a car mechanic, whatever it may be, you have to take advice from people who've walked the road before you. The only way to change your mindset, right, is it doesn't just snap and happen. The only way to change your mindset is to hang around with people who have a different mindset. And funny thing is, it starts to rub off on you. One of the biggest barriers I see in the world today is the get-rich-quick mentality. I tried that and it didn't work mentality. The get-rich-quick where I read a book or I watch a YouTube or I listen to a podcast like this, and then you try it by doing 1 or 2 viewings, you go and do 1 or 2 networking events, and then suddenly you say, oh, I tried that, it didn't work. I don't know how to raise the money. Where's the money? It's not easy to raise money. But actually, you've not really tried, but plus, you're trying to get rich quick. So many people will spend the next 40 years working in a job for X amount of income, whatever your salary may be. Now, usually from the age of sort of 15 up to 35, your salary will go up quite a bit to start off with, but then it kind of plateaus out for the rest of your life. And you'll have little incremental rises, usually just with inflation. So you think you're getting a pay rise, but because it's with inflation, you're probably actually not getting a pay rise, or maybe ending up on less money than you were on, because you get the little bit of a pay rise, but the money you're spending doesn't go as far as it used to go. That means you're getting a pay cut in true terms of money. But in business, you want to quit that job, and let's say you're on $5,000 a year salary, which would be a phenomenal salary. Average salary in the UK, you're talking about 30 odd grand a year. Imagine if you were on $5,000 a month. That would be a big salary, $5,000 a month. Now, here's the thing about your $5,000 a month salary. What happens is you give up 1 or 2 years of hard work in exchange for that 40 years working for somebody else, because you wanted to replace your salary in 3 weeks or 3 months. But it's not about replacing it in 3 weeks or 3 months. Many people achieve that, and yes, that is possible. But actually, it's about a clear long-term perspective. If you're currently 35 years old and you're thinking you're going to continue on the path you're on to 45, 55, 65, maybe even 70, you got 30 to 35 more years to work. But what if you started to slowly build businesses, slowly get involved in property? What if you only got 2, 3, 4 deals? You don't need to take over the world. You don't need 50, 60, 70, 100 plus properties. Many people want to do that. When I started in 2013, if somebody told me I'd own 100 plus properties, I'd have laughed at them. It just happens over time. However, most people quit in the first 6 months and they have no idea what they were capable of. They never get to realize their potential because they quit too soon because they chased the get rich quick instead of slowly building the business. There's the saying, the tortoise and the hare, it exists for a reason. Imagine if you just did one deal every 3 years. If you did one deal every 3 years that made you 500 quid a month profit. Well, within your 30 years, you'd be on 5 grand a month by the time you retire, instead of retiring with no income coming in. Now, if you fast tracked that to one deal a year, you'd have 30 deals in 30 years. And then if you learned how to be creative around property investing, you could do significantly more. We average one deal a month at the moment, and we've been averaging one deal a month for over 3 years. And I will continue to do that for the rest of my life because I learned how to do business in 2013 when I came to Progressive Property, and I didn't quit my job till 2016. It took me 3 years of hard graft just to replace my income. But had I not done that, I would never have built up to the businesses that I have today. That leads me on to step number 2. Invest in training and education. Many people go to a job, and if you're listening to this, I bet you have been on a training course in your job. Your boss will have put you on a training, and you'll say to yourself, they did that to give you more skills, when the reality is they paid for your training to make you better at making them more money. The job you are in is working for someone else. It's working for them. It's just not working as well as it could for you. It's working for someone else. Educate yourself. Most people go through school years and years and years. They pay for their children to go to private school, tens and tens of thousands of pounds, so they can get a job at the end of it working for somebody else. Self-education makes you a fortune. Formal education, it just makes you a living. So YouTube can only get you so far. Podcasts like this can inspire you and give you a little bit of knowledge to get going. But books and in-person events with like-minded people, that can get you so far as well. I met a guy at an event recently. He said, oh my God, he says, I can't believe I've met you. I've read your book, No Money Down Property Investing, twice now. I'm going to go away and I'm going to read it a third time. And I said, listen, mate, if you've read my book twice and you're still not a millionaire, reading it a third time is not going to change your life. But maybe hanging around and working with the guy that wrote it just might. And that leads us nicely on to point 3, which is network. There is that saying, your network is your net worth. Why does that saying exist? Let me tell you, because it's true. Those sayings exist because they're true. Yeah, observe the masses, do the opposite. It's true. Yeah, more millionaires and more billionaires are creating a crisis than any other time. It's true. And your network really is your net worth. You become the sum of the people you spend the most time with. So hang around with people who are thinking at a different level, and they will take you to a different level. Make a good impression. So when you show up to network, don't be the moaner in the room. Oh, nothing works. This doesn't work. I tried that. It didn't work. Yeah, it's the solicitor's fault, the broker's fault. It's everybody else's fault but mine. Oh, the world is happening to me. You got to create your own world. Don't let the world happen to you. And when you're around people and you're networking and you bring the wrong attitude, you see, your attitude, not your aptitude, determines your altitude. And when you bring the wrong attitude, the people that want to work with other people, the people that may have the funds, they may have the deals, they'll sit there and they'll look at you and they'll go, oh my God. Could you imagine being involved in a JV with them? As soon as there's a bit of a challenge, they'll run and hide under some rock instead of rolling their sleeves up and sorting it out. It'll be somebody else's fault but theirs. They're not the type of person I want to work with. So it's not just about hanging around with the right people. It is about the attitude you bring to the conversation. So how do you meet like-minded people? There will be local networking events in your area. There's also national events. Things like multiple streams of property income, which is the UK's flagship property investment event. I meet people a lot and they go, I don't know if I learn anything new if I go to multiple streams of property income. The person who thinks they know it all. Yet anyone who's ever showed up has always said, wow, I can't believe I've lived this long and didn't know that information. But it's not just about the knowledge. It's about the other people in the room. Because two types of people show up. Those that want the knowledge of how to buy property and those with the money that are looking to find the person with the knowledge. Get out of your own house. You're not going to find your business partner sitting at home watching a YouTube video or driving alone in the car listening to me on a podcast. What you are going to do is you're going to get the information to tell you to where to go to. Start local. Go to local networking events. Progressive Property Network, PPN. They run events right across the UK where like-minded property professionals get together at least once a month to network. Go on to progressivepropertynetwork.co.uk, find your local networking event and just commit to attend. Make that your first step on your new you for this year. Change today. And then when you get there, when you get to the networking events, when you get to the multiple streams of property income or your local PPN networking event and people speak to you, tell them what you do. There's no point going to a networking event and being quiet in the room and speaking to nobody. So when somebody says to you, what do you do? Don't say, I'm a IT technician. What good is that to them? Don't say, I'm a full-time software engineer. What good is that to them? No, you're not. You are working 25% of your available time in your job. If you're doing a 40-hour week full-time, that is only 24-ish% of your 168 hours in your week. So don't give me this excuse and give yourself this excuse that you don't have the time, that you're working full-time. No full-time job is full-time. Because the last time I checked, there's 168 hours in a week. So you tell people that you're working full-time in your job if you like, but make sure you mention that you're working part-time on your fortune. And soon you'll be working full-time on your fortune. That is something that Jim Rohn, a motivational speaker in America, now passed away, that I'll never forget when I listened to him. I could have heard that and did nothing with it, but I have to understand the message, which is to go out there and tell people that you're in property. You have to be it to see it, not fake it till you make it, but if you're going to be it, you will eventually see it. Why network? For a very simple reason, right? Raise the money. Number 4, the finance. Many people will say, I'd love to do property, but I don't have the money. Yet the government printed trillions and trillions and trillions of pounds during the lockdown. It is not a lack of resources in this country right now. What it is a lack of resourcefulness. Many people are not willing to go out there and tap into the world's economy. You're looking internally at your bank account. Your bank account is distracting and irrelevant. Your bank account is holding you back. People meet me a lot and they say, I got 20 grand, what should I do? I got 100 grand, what should I do? And they're always shocked when I answer their question and I say, what are you going to do when you've done something with it? Because you'll have your 100 grand, you'll put it into some house. Now you got no money left. Now what are you going to do? Because one house won't change your life. So you have to network and realize that your earned money from a job, exchanging time for money, is not the solution. Your biggest hurdle doesn't have to be the money. Your biggest hurdle is actually not the money. Your biggest hurdle is your ability to believe in yourself. Your biggest hurdle goes back to the mindset and the network. Your biggest hurdle is getting out of your own way, going out there and being it to see it and going to raise the money, because you may lack the money, but the person with the money, They lack your knowledge. They lack your time. The most important things in life are time and knowledge. When you have the time and the knowledge, and you can create the time and you can gain the knowledge, when you have those, the money will be attracted to you. Money is everywhere. You just need to know where to look. Money is absolutely everywhere. And once you start to tell yourself that, but the problem is most people are told money is hard to come by. Money is hard earned. This is how I was brought up for 35 years. And for the last 10 years, hanging around with different people, I've started to realize money is absolutely everywhere. So you get the right mindset, you gain the knowledge, you get around the right network, and you raise the money. Now you've got to find the deal. When you find the deal, there's two challenges I see with people. The type of person who rushes into the deal really quickly without doing thorough research, and then the other person who goes in too slowly by over-researching. And the middle ground is where the money is made. You've got to know your area. Many people will say, oh, my area is the most expensive. My area doesn't work. The only area that doesn't work is the 6 inches between your brain. If there's somebody else doing a property deal in your area today, then you can too. Quite often it's a lack of knowledge of understanding what works in your area. But because you say your area doesn't work, you create an excuse. Then you say you need to go to some other area. And somebody in Liverpool wants to invest in Scotland. And somebody in Scotland wants to invest in Newcastle. And somebody in Newcastle wants to be in Nottingham. And somebody in Nottingham wants to be in London. And somebody in London wants to be in Manchester. And everybody wants to be somewhere else. And you end up creating a time excuse. I'd do it if only I had the time to go to another area. Your area, you are the subject matter expert of that area. You know your area better than me. With the right knowledge in your area, you are unstoppable, so long as you have the right attitude, the right drive, the right determination, and the will to succeed. Run numbers on a deal. Go out in your area, look at a deal, and then run the numbers. But I don't know how to run the numbers. That's because of a lack of knowledge, a lack of education. Get yourself to an event, learn from people who've walked the road before you, and they will show you how to do the numbers. There's 2 types of numbers. The fag packet numbers. So purchase price is distracting and irrelevant. Rental price is distracting and irrelevant. It's about the end number, the end value. Take away what your profit wants to be, take away your costs, equals your maximum offer. That's what I call the fag packet analysis. Then there's the deeper dive into the research of tenant demand, rental area, what you can achieve, and comparables in your area. And when you do all of that, many people positively procrastinate on it and take too long, and they lose the deal. It used to be big fish eat small fish. Now it's quick fish eat slow fish. You have got to move. The one thing that makes me very, very successful is I am the first person out of my seat when there's an opportunity. I just go grab the opportunity, but I still protect the downside by doing quick research. It's not about no research, not about no due diligence. It's about quick research, quick due diligence. And you know who I am talking to. I'm talking to you. The person who's walking past or driving past that property. And you're saying to yourself, I'm going to arrange a viewing of that someday. That looks like a good deal. I'm going to do the numbers someday. But someday never comes. And then you drive by it for week after week after week after week. And then eventually you see a sold sign up outside. And you say, that was mine. That was my deal. No, you never viewed it. You weren't quick enough. So you start small. Think big if you wish. Do not be that person who says, and I don't buy into this at all. This thing where you see on social media, on TikTok and Instagram, by the people with the fake Rolexes, putting themselves sitting in a car like a Lamborghini in a garage, and they say, go big or go home. No, you don't. You think big, you start small. Do not bite off more than you can chew before you start. Start with the simple stuff. Do a bit of deal packaging. Do a bit of rent to rent. Do a simple terraced house, buy, refurbish, rent, refinance. Rinse and repeat. Boring is best. And over time, you can start to take on the bigger projects when you've got some experience. Build up experience so that you can build bigger deals. Step number 6, and this is critical above all of the other stuff, it's about building a supportive team. I hung around with like-minded people, love them, family, friends, they're my family and my friends, but none of them understood property or business or what I wanted to do. And here's one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing. They don't build a supportive team of like-minded people. They sit at home with their mum, dad, husband, wife, brother, sister, neighbors, cousins, work colleagues, and they say, I'm thinking about doing buy-to-let. And they say, why would you want to do that? Well, it's the wrong time. It's. Have you seen the market? What about tenants? What if they trash your house? What if you can't get the refurb done on time? What if the builder rips you off? What if? And what they do is they pass their limiting belief onto you. They are not the entrepreneur. You are. And then it eats away at you inside, knowing that you're doing their dream. You're living their dream because you wanted them to accept yours, but they are not you. You are a different person. They are a different person. And all I did in 2013 at 35 years of age was I created a new family, a property family, the progressive property family, where progressive people got together wanting to progress. They wanted to move forward. And I hung around with them to have my questions answered around property and mindset and challenges and obstacles. And when I would speak to somebody like one of my mentors or one of my peers, and I'd say, I've got this challenge, they would say, wow, I've gone through that too. I had the same challenge. Here's what I did. Rather than saying, what did you expect? Sure, you know it's not that easy. Sure, if it was so simple, everybody would do it. You see, you're being mentored whether you like it or not. But you're either been held back by people who don't actually want to hold you back. They just don't realize they're holding you back because they've never experienced anything else. Or you're being mentored by people who are ahead of you that drag you to the next level. You need a power team, not a hold back team. You need people around you who teach you how to leverage tasks. You need to work with experienced people, not get your advice from the person down the pub who will give you their opinion. I've got a simple saying, do not give me your opinion. Tell me or show me what you are actually doing. But most people take opinion from people who've never done stuff and they use that as their fact and their reality. Do not take people's opinion. Look and only follow at what people are actually doing. Don't be afraid to ask for help. No question is a silly question. You do not know what you do not know. So you have to hang around with people who have the answers to the simple question. You do not want to be the smartest person in the room. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You want to be the least experienced person in the room, because if you are, you just get dragged up to the next level. So that leads me to number 7, the final point. If you are frustrated, if you are fed up, if you are annoyed with yourself that you're 6 months already into this year and you've not moved forward yet, then make this podcast, make today the time to take action. Just make the first step. I don't know where to start. Why don't you just start by joining the Progressive Property community on Facebook? Go to Facebook, type in Progressive Property, click join, answer a couple of questions to confirm that you're a real person, and you can get in there with about 50,000 like-minded property investors as your new family. Get yourself on a webinar, attend an event like Multiple Streams of Property Income, go to a local Progressive Property Networking event, and just take those first steps to surround yourself in an environment of action takers. Because when you surround yourself in an environment of action takers, you are going to be embarrassed to be the person not taking action. Positive peer pressure will completely change your results. Get networking right now, whether it be property or business, whether it be with Progressive Property or somebody else. Just get started and move yourself forward on your property journey. If you come to a live event, make sure you come and say hi. Let me know if this podcast had an impact on getting you to make a decision to move forward. And I look forward to seeing your journey, watching your results, and watching you fly.